Today's daily is Melting Remnant plus Awoken. We do have the Mutators Burn Bright, Permadeath and Heavy. Permadeath is especially important because we have the Melting Remnant clan, which means we can't use reform strategies at all unless we use it exactly on our champion, because any non-champion unit which dies is purged from your deck and it won't be able to be reformed. So that's something we have to keep in mind. We also have to keep in mind we get 5 energy a turn, so we can play some more expensive, heavier, higher impact cards potentially. So let's see what we get as our starting cards. We do have Molten Encasement, twice Wildwood Sap, twice and a Fatal Melting. Because Molten Encasement needs to die and Fatal Melting counts the friendly unit deaths, these are probably not that great in a Permadeath challenge, so I'm definitely looking at removing them potentially, or maybe we can find another way around that. These are the mutators, we discussed them before. Let's see what artifacts we have available. We do have mold bracers. Friendly units gain extinguish, apply armor 5 to the front friendly unit. This would be pretty decent if it weren't for permadeath, so I'm gonna go with gnarled root and try to find some spikes to use. Now, because reforming isn't an option, we definitely don't want the dark calling path. We're gonna go with accumulator and harvest to gain some life, which might play well with the spikes from the artifact, if we can find a way to apply some spikes. First battle, numbers enemy units enter with spikes 3. I'm gonna just toggle this. It covers a bit too much right now. Definitely we want to take all the challenges for scores, as each challenge is worth 50% extra points from the battle, so we definitely want to take them all if possible. So, what's our way to deal with the 40 health guy? Currently we don't really have a way, so our goal is to just hit them down to 20 health so our pyre finishes them with a single shot. I'm also gonna start putting regen on Rector Flicker, so he's ready for the boss fight. We don't need to kill this second wave actually, because I plan on defeating the boss before it comes to this. I do want some damage on the Forged Disciple, but I also want some dregs on the field. To die on the bottom floor, so our Rector gets some additional HP. I don't want the Molten Encasements in the deck. Actually, we can't hit this guy down to 20 HP sadly because of the healer in the back. So we will take a bit more fire damage than we planned. But that's okay. We also removed one of the train stewards, which is pretty good. This should win us the fight. Exactly. I could play a train steward to remove it, but I definitely want a Molten Encasement gone. This Molten Encasement sadly is not gonna die. This guy's not gonna die, but he won't ascend to the pyre until all combats are finished, and because we kill the boss before then, we will not take any damage to our pyre this round. I'm also gonna remove another train steward by playing him in front, so the boss kills him, and Permadeath removes him from our deck. And we win this fight easily. On the bottom floor, for 30 8% extra coins. We did take extra points. We did take some damage, which lowers our score a bit, but it's only the first fight. The score is not that important yet. Dripfall. I like a dripfall. It allows us to stack multiple units on a single floor, and it allows us to control flying bottles a bit better, where they land and things like that. Restoration detonation isn't bad with this flicker, the harvest flicker we have, but I think I really want to start getting some spikes so we have a good way to deal with backline units, and it's also a great way to increase the damage our Raptor flicker is going to deal. Because we currently don't have any good unit, and we don't have and because of Permadeath removing our units, I'm not gonna go to the unit banner on unit shop. Instead, I'm gonna go to the right side, pick up the coins, and maybe upgrade our Sharpen a little bit. And I can see a nice upgrade for our Sharpen. We can get it holdover and reduce its cost, so we do have it every hand for just a single mana, which will allow us to stack a lot of damage on our Raptor. Other than that, I could reroll, try for some more upgrades, but currently I don't have any other great spells to upgrade. I could potentially lower the cost on Dripfall, but that's not as important because we do have the Burn Bright challenge. Let's look at the next floor. We do have a Merchant of Steel, Merchant of Magic, potentially a Merchant of Magic with an Awoken banner, might be pretty nice. So I think I'm gonna save my coins for now. I don't really... The Molten Encasements, we get them out of our deck by themselves. A Fatal Melting is probably useful for one more combat, but probably not even that. So I'm just gonna remove the Fatal Melting for now. So we have a bit more streamlined deck. Oh, I also forgot to mention we fight Seraph the Chaste, which cleanses all units of effect which don't benefit Seraph. That means he will halve the buffs on all of our unit on a single floor every turn, which means our spike regen strategy needs some more help if we want to go that path. Definitely want to take the challenge. We do have the spikes boss. And we do now have a way to scale up the damage on our flicker. But he still needs some help in that. I'm gonna set up on the second floor here, so we have a little bit more time to prepare for the first wave of enemies. I might try to use Dripfall to descend our units later in the fight. Sadly, we do not. We will not manage to kill this overcharged apprentice here, because we don't have enough damage just yet. I do want to keep him below 20, but well, it is possible actually. I could Dripfall on the Trusted Priest. We do have 10 spikes by now. I could also Dripfall the apprentice itself, but I think we wouldn't be able to kill him. No, we definitely wouldn't. I'm just gonna descend the Trusted Priest for now. We do now have 2 priests on this floor, which is a bit annoying. I do not have descent, so we will only get a 2-turn boss rush here. This guy's gonna get healed to 27, so we will take some more pyre damage. I guess that's inevitable. I wanna get rid of the Molten Encasement as soon as possible, but it might be better to do it on this floor, so our Raptor gets some additional max HP. And we do win on this fight easily. Draft. Burnout is a bit of a problem. Intent on Death is interesting. It's a way to trigger extinguish effects without our unit needing to die, but I don't think I'm interested in that. I might take the draft just as a 20 damage spell that purges out of our deck after we play it. And I think I'm gonna take the Restoration Detonation to deal with frontline units with high HP. And for the same reason, I'm also gonna pick Awoken Hollow. It's gonna grow in power and health, and it's pretty good to use with Restoration Detonation because it comes into play damaged, because it gains 60 max health when it enters play. And with all our regen, we might make this guy pretty big. And because of his max HP, he's not the it's not that risky to use. He is unlikely to die permanently. Now I do have a great unit I want to upgrade, so I might consider going to the right. The next Merchant of Steel is here, but it's on the side with Pyre Health and Vortex, which is not that appealing. Yes, I think I want to get my upgrades in right now, so we do get more benefit out of our Awoken Hollow. Sadly, Large Stone is not quite what I want, because we want the Awoken Hollow to be behind our Rector Flicker, at least for the start, so we have time to heal him up. What I really like to see for Awoken Hollow would be Multi-Strike, but we currently don't really have enough gold to get Multi-Strike going. So I'm gonna go to the Concealed Caverns first, maybe we pick up some more gold. Historian approaches the open door with several large books in the back of his strange carriage. My time in hell has granted me access to the records of so many fascinating clans. The pages have lost their value, however, as I have memorized their contents. I have the records of the Awoken, Melting Remnant and Umbra at your disposal, though I can only bear to part with one for now. Which clan's tome will you take? We could get Awoken's Wildwood tome to apply quick to a unit. That's not very good for us. We don't have a great unit to put quick on. Rector Flicker has too low of a damage value. Awoken Hollow needs time to grow, but even if he then has a nice damage value, it's better if we let the enemies hit the taunts on Rector Flicker first, so the small enemies can die potentially, because there are some waves with small enemies in front of big enemies, and quick would be actively bad against that. Remnant Pact on the other hand would be quite interesting. Applying Endless to a unit means it doesn't die to Permadeath. We could use that on Draft, for example, but I don't think Draft by itself is good enough for that. Umbra Stone, same problem. Our units aren't that big, and we do have Thorns to take out Backliner. So I think I'm just gonna skip this choice. Now back to the shop. I could reroll, hope we get a multi-strike for 95 gold or something like that, but I think that's just not quite worth it. I'm just gonna go with a Battlestone to increase the stats on the Awoken Hollow some more, so he's ready a bit earlier. Actually, we do have the Dripfall, so I could go for a Large Stone instead. The plus 40 health is really big. Yeah, let's do a Large Stone. I still want to keep the second slot open for a potential multi-strike later on. And the Awoken Hollow is strong enough to potentially be on his own floor as well. At least for a while. So I guess that's how we're gonna play it for now. I want Rector Flicker to be on the middle floor, because these guys deal a lot of damage. We can't tank these guys right now. So I'll play Rector Flicker here, the Awoken Hollow on top. It takes 20 damage to the bombs, but that should be alright. I'm also gonna play the Train Steward on this floor and keep the draft in the deck for a potential later use. Now, this bomb here is a bit of a problem, because we do not have a way to save Rector from the bomb. Currently, we could descend him, so he's on the bottom floor, but we can potentially get by just with our Awoken Hollow if we play it correctly. It's a bit of a shame. I think I'll just try to get by with Awoken Hollow. And now I see a way we can save our Flicker, and I think I'm gonna take it. We descend the bomb so it explodes on the bottom floor, and then Flicker will take almost no damage after the harvest is added in. Do have Restoration Detonation to heal our Flicker back up and kill the front line here, which is great. If we want to kill the back line here, we need to have spikes on this guy, and that's what I'm gonna do. I also want to keep his regen up, heal him some more, so he can grow. The bomb here is not a big problem. I want to start getting some thorns on Rector as well. This could be a good turn to play the draft to deal with one of these guys, because we can't kill both on the top floor. So I'll play the draft here. We will lose it, it will purge out of the deck, but that's fine. I just took it for that reason. Hi Zoom, welcome to the stream. Yep, it's a pretty big boy, our Awoken Hollow. And he will deal with all those guys thanks to his spikes. I'm also gonna Restoration Detonation Flicker, so he kills the bomb. And I'm actually also gonna move him down a floor. Should have saved the Restoration Detonation and played here, and he would have taken out the Disciple as well. But that's fine. We can just deal with that on our top floor easily. Now we do not currently have enough power to take out Daedalus with just our Flicker, which is not great, but I don't think these Restores and Sharpen will make enough of a difference. We might get maybe 200 damage in instead. I'm just gonna keep buffing up our top floor unit. I really want to descend the Hollow if possible, and we can. So now we can kill Daedalus on the middle floor, which is worth a few more points because we get a 2-turn boss rush instead of a 1-turn. We didn't take damage, so that's good. Only a 2-turn boss rush, but that's fine for now. Adaptive Mutation, that's a very interesting card, because we could use it on Rector Flicker to turn his health gain into an attack gain. And then with if he's behind our Awoken Hollow, we would have a huge damage monster. And I kind of like that. We could also pick Sacrificial Resurrection. It would be a way to have draft units. It would also purge out these dead weights, potentially. And the draft units are generated by this card, so it's not a problem if they die to Permadeath. But I think I will go with Adaptive Mutation, because we have no great way to keep these draft units alive. Paraffin Tug would be the only thing that interests me, but he's a bit too hard to keep alive during Permadeath. But that means we can just take him, remove him later. When he dies, he gets removed. And that's okay. Maybe we get some gold out of him until then. I'm gonna take the draw here because we already have the energy and we don't really need the capacity because we do have Gripfall. Removing cards doesn't interest me as much because our deck is mostly very useful. The restores are pretty strong on the Awoken Hollow. Wildwood Sap is useful to keep the regen up. And all the other cards are cards we picked up ourselves, so we don't want to get rid of them at the moment. Health banners, I don't think I need that. We do have enough energy and we don't summon that many units, so I'm gonna go with the magic power, which increases the power of our restores and detonation a little bit. Do I want the second Paraffin Thug? Yeah, sure, why not? We'll get rid of him when we don't need them any longer. Rector Flicker, more harvest, so he can get more health to potentially turn into attack with the adaptive mutation. We do want to keep taking the challenge. Here we do have the boss that grows whenever he ascends, so we should try to set up on the lower floors rather than the higher floors, if that's any way possible in any way. Considering we want Rector Flicker to be behind the Awoken Hollow now, I think we play the Hollow in front, buff them with spikes, and place Rector Flicker behind. We don't have... I probably should have set up on the second floor actually. We don't have a good way to stop the first one or two waves, but after that we should be set. Definitely want to start increasing the power of our Awoken Hollow. It's a bit too early to use the mutation. I'm gonna put the Paraffin Thug up there, possibly another Paraffin Thug in front. It doesn't look like they will get any kills though. If we sharpen the backline, we do have enough power to take out the Clipped Shaman, so we can start gaining some health buff on our Rector. Our pirate deals 30, so these will die in 2 hits no matter what. Yeah, I'm gonna save the other Paraffin Thug. We still lack some damage to kill this unit. We need a way to deal with early strong frontline units a bit better. I was hoping for the Dripfall here, but we didn't get it. Let's heal this guy up some more and make our Flicker a bit more aggressive. This battle didn't work out for us very well, mostly because we set up on the bottom floor and make our big boy really big. We took way too much damage this fight. That wasn't a good fight for us. Resin removal, we don't need that. Sacred Wicks, we can't really reform. Same for Wicked Blaze, nothing useful here. Awake. Restore 33 health, apply regen 4. Is a good way to keep regen up. I am strongly considering it. I think we need some more ways to keep regen up if we want to beat Seraph. another Merchant of Steel, but here I'd rather go for the left side because we can't really use the removals very well. Permafrost on Adaptive Mutation makes a lot of sense, so we have it exactly when we need it. Cost reduce the Awake, so we can have an easier time playing it. I don't want plus 20 power and consume on anything right now. Double stack is very strong on the Awake. I would have liked to see another holdover, mostly for Restoration Detonation or Dripfall. Well, Dripfall not that much actually, we don't need to hold over that, but the Restoration Detonation would be great for the first few waves to take out. Purge a card, gain a card, sure. What's the weakest card in our deck currently? Probably Restore, possibly Wildwood Sap. Actually, I think Wildwood Sap is worse right now. I definitely want an Awoken card. Another Adaptive Mutation? Is that useful for us? Not really. I'm gonna skip. Wasn't a great event for us, sadly. So we do have the sweep unit, so we need to be careful when we switch our Rector Flicker. Spell Shield might be rough. I definitely want to set up on a higher floor this time, especially because of these stealthy units. I'm gonna go Rector Flicker top, Awoken Hollow on the middle floor, start rejuvenating him. We do get Sharpen here, which means these die to our spikes. I'm also gonna start getting the regen ready. Would have loved to descend Rector to get the harvest from all these kills, but sadly we can't. Now thinking about, we need a way to deal with this guy. We're just slightly too weak right now. I could Adaptive Mutation on the Awoken Hollow, in fact. I do think he does have enough health to survive that, but it would only kill the Clip Defender in the front line instead of the Overcharge tank in the back line. So I'm gonna hold on to the Adaptive Mutation a bit longer. We do kill the frontline guy, but the Overcharge tank is gonna go to the top floor potentially. We will take 15 damage to him. Not much we can do against that. Now though, we do have the option to switch the stats on our Rector, and because we do get some kills, his health will start to grow again. Actually, that was probably a mistake. I should probably have descended the Overcharge tank instead of what I did, so we could have a bottom floor kill for some extra points. But at least we are strong enough to make it through this combat easily. So now we have another chance to pick Sacrificial Resurrection, and I will take it here. Preserve Thorns and Snare and Wildwood Tome. And Snare is actually pretty good. We can keep an enemy we can't deal with right now on the floor for another turn, which means he will take some more damage to our spikes. Preserved Thorns, also not bad, helps us draw additional cards and deals some damage to the front line. Because we have the Temporary Talisman, I will go for Preserved Thorns. Maybe we find one of the Thorn Relics, and then these stings will be pretty damn good. We do have the Purge, which doesn't benefit me much on the right side, but I think I'm still gonna go to the right and try to find some helpful artifacts. Vexor units gain Endless. Well, this could work well with our Sacrificial Resurrection. We could get some pretty huge Endless draft units. That would be a good way to deal with a strong frontliner, guys. I think I like it, yes. The Sting Relic is great with our Preserved Thorns. I'm definitely gonna take that. Now I think we are in a pretty good spot to deal with pretty much anything that comes our way. I'm still gonna spend the 50 gold for a reroll. And it was worth it. We get another 20 magic power to our stings, which makes them insanely powerful. I don't think we want to remove anything from that deck. It's fine as is. In fact, I would love to pick up like 2 or 3 more cards, so we can get some more mileage out of our Sacrificial Resurrection. We do not currently have the Thorns ready, so I want to set up on the second floor with Reactor Flicker behind. I don't want the Sacrificial Resurrection just yet. Our stings have piercing, so they will penetrate the damage shield on that guy. The spell shield, I mean. Keeps buffing armor to this one guy. That's quite annoying. Now he has enough health to get an additional hit on our pyre. I definitely want to Restoration Detonation here, and we'll use Sting to kill this guy. This guy's gonna die to our Thorns actually, so I'm just gonna descend that one, and we will attack the backline unit and kill it. I also want the Rejuve triggers more than the additional regen from the Awake right now. It will change later in the fight, where I definitely want the regen more. Sting is a good way of dealing a big amount of damage to that guy. I'm gonna sharpen. It's a bit sad about the adaptive mutation, but I don't think we will need Rector in this fight, so I'm just gonna make a big draft to help clear out these middle floors for now. I don't want to descend my frontline, my hollow eventually, and I think this might be a good turn. This guy is just gonna die to flicker on the top floor, and I will use draft here, just thinking about how to place him up optimally, and I think that's what we will do. We can kill this guy with a sting. Keep buffing up here. We could start descending our flicker. And no, we don't need flicker to win. No more regen, and we win this fight easily. Okay. Spikes on friendly units still +1 damage per stack. While I would like that, it's a bit hard to get on the same floor as Awoken Hollow because we need the room for our draft, and I think that's more important. Channel Song not useful, we don't need a second Sacrificial Resurrection, so I'm just gonna pass. I want to keep increasing the draw so I can get through my deck faster. Hi Rossum, nice to see you here. So we still have an open slot on our Awoken Hollow. I would love to be able to fill that. We do have the option to go to the left side next floor, which I think I like a bit better than going to the right here. So we'll go to the left here, pick up the coins, consume removal. Preserve Thorns, pretty good with all our Sting relics. I think we should be good for a bottom floor Seraph kill right now, as the deck is. And I don't think anything we can do will increase our chances to actually kill Seraph during flight, because our Thorns don't help and we don't have enough damage otherwise to kill him. So I'm mainly thinking about the next combat, where our main problem is gonna be Gilded Wings, and I don't think getting more spikes will help. Well, they will help. Yeah, but I don't think it's enough. I'm gonna increase the power on the Restoration Detonation, so we can use it to take out stronger units early on when our Hollow isn't completely healed up. And I'm also gonna reduce the cost on some of the restore, because it doesn't look like we will pick up Netchprior. Sacrificial Resurrection Permafrost means we can use it just on the right turn to remove as many of the dead weights from our hand as we possibly can. I like Restoration Detonation with Awoken Hollow. It's okay. Not amazing, but still useful. Stitching Guard, there would be Spell Weakness or Frostbite, not really anything we need. This is Regen or Thorns, That might be useful. Melting Remnant. No. That would be the potion that increases burnout. We don't have... Well, we do have a use for it, don't we? For our draft. Maybe one of these cards would be good. The way of balancing, indeed. No, we don't really need our draft to live longer. Let's just take a Wildwood Sap here. And we upgrade our champion to gain some more harvest. Doesn't look like we will get too much use out of him, but we'll see. Plus 8 attack. That should be fine, as long as it isn't armor. Would have expected more people playing the daily. There are quite a few people playing it right now. There's 31 people online, and there's a lot of people who have already completed it. With 5 spikes, the multi-strike on these guys doesn't matter. So we have 36, 40, 50, 54 damage incoming, which our Awoken Hollow can just barely survive. We would need to draw into either double stack or restoration detonation to make him survive. That's a bit too high a risk for me. I'm gonna play him on the middle floor, just in case we don't draw much healing next turn. Restoration detonation is a big amount of damage on the front line, which is screwed, but it seems like the only way to take out the collector. Oh no, the only way to take out the best way to take out the collector is Descent Flicker, which means he will gain a lot of extra health, which we can turn into attack next turn. Yeah, I can see that people just starting out will probably play standard runs first for a while before they start doing dailies and things like that. Get a 150 flicker. We awake, sharpen, and use the thorns on this guy. Another one here. I'm gonna keep the resurrection around until we actually need it. Currently it looks like we are not gonna need it anytime soon. I'm glad. Well, we do have 4 deadweights in this hand, so if we ever use it, now would be the best time, just to get rid of all the deadweights. And I'm not gonna play the draft because it is endless and I don't want to draw into it. Yeah, same here. No, I did play one daily before I hit level 10 on everything, but I think only that one. Thinking about this, I think I would just want to use Distinct here, then descend my Hollow, so I can benefit from the bottom floor kill bonus. And Rector Flicker will just take out the Gilded Wing, then make it past my Hollow. Now we stack some regen, just so we are 100% certain we will win this battle, because if we lose our Thorned Hollow, we lose the run. But we do have all the power we need. We can even descend Flicker to make it a bit faster. That's a lot of gold. We don't need any of these. Another preserved thorns? Hmm, sure. The second one is probably fine. Much better to have two of them than one with consume removed. I'm gonna go to the right, try to find multi-strike or anything similar for my hollow, and we found it. That makes it a lot easier to deal with gilded wings or anything similar. Cards with consume have a 50% chance to be discarded instead. We don't need that. We don't really want our consume cards to discard. Improved firebox not necessary, infused mallet not necessary, and I don't think we will find any artifact that will actually help us. So I'm just gonna keep the coins for score. We can dupe one card, and that would be Sharpen probably. So let's enter the final fight and win this daily. Now, the Cleansing Seraph does reduce the power of our regen and thorns by quite a bit, but he doesn't do anything against the stat gains we gained from the healing and the sharpen. I'm gonna split these two up, and I want to keep them on separate floors for a while, because that means Seraph will split up his purge effects. I definitely want the Thorns back up to kill the backliners. I also want to heal him up a bit. We still lack some damage for the Dark Wings. But now we do have the Thorns, the Sting, to take care of them. I wasted one of the Stings, huh? Now, because Seraph is on the bottom floor, he's gonna clean this floor most likely anyways, so this will be a decent turn to descend our Rector. We do have them on the same floor for just a little while, because as soon as I get back to my... not yet. I want another round of kills on Rector before I play the mutation. Everything on this floor just dies anyway, so I'm gonna play the Stings on the bottom floor. Oh, we did get Ember Drain this turn, which is a bit annoying. I do have Restoration Detonation to kill the front line, reducing some of the incoming damage. And now this is a pretty good turn to Adaptive Mutation my Rector, because he will hit Seraph for quite a bit of damage already. And now he does have the power he needs. Definitely want to keep healing my Hollow. The Pyre Wings are a bit annoying with their Ember Drain ability. I'm gonna start working on this double Gilded Wing floor here, and I'm also gonna create a draft out of these 3 dead weights to get rid of them. I do want to potentially draw into the draft next turn, so I will play him out here just to put him back on top of my deck. Now I think we can descend the Hollow, Sharpen here, so the Light Wings die, and we kill the front line with 2 spikes. And here on the bottom floor we can use the draft to deal with the remaining units. We need to make sure we always have regen going on the Awoken Hollow, so he will be strong enough for the final Seraph battle. And I also want to keep the Thorns on, so these Lightwings will die. I want to keep the final Wildwood Sap in the deck for the final confrontation with Seraph, so we can have some more regen on this guy. I definitely want Rector Flicker to join the fight, because he deals a ton of damage if he's on the back line. And just because I can, I would love to save the Awoken Hollow. Just so I don't feel bad for him dying to Permadeath in the last fight. And we managed to save him and beat Seraph on the bottom floor without taking damage on this fight. This is a nice amount of points. Hi Thanatos, welcome to the stream. So let's see where that puts us. We do have 42,000 points, which is not a top score, but it's definitely a pretty good score. I did take a bit of unnecessary damage in earlier fights, which could have been prevented by better unit placement. Yeah, we are just slightly below Thanatos, which is always a good place to be. The fact that Thanatos doesn't have much more points than us tells me that we did pretty well.